Hello, my name is Karen Walker, and this is my presentation on using geocaching in education. The objective of this presentation is to tell you about the origins of geocaching. I'm also going to explain to you just exactly what geocaching is, and then I'm going to discuss potential ways that we can use it in our classrooms. If you hang around till the end, there's a video of me actually finding a geocache. Before doing this presentation, I actually thought that geocaching had been around since the 60s and 70s because it is actually very possible to do this with a compass if you know longitude and latitude coordinates. But geocaching as we know it has only been around since 2000. The Navigation, Satellite Timing, and Ranging Global Positioning System was actually developed by the United States government. As technology progressed, they agreed to make it common knowledge to the public before 2006. They got a little bit ahead of themselves, and in May of 2000, the Department of Defense stopped jamming the signals that affected civilian use of GPS. GPS devices were now accurate for up to 30 feet. A few days after the signal jamming stopped, an engineer by the name of David Ulmer came up with the idea that he would take a black bucket that had a watertight lid on it, put a notebook and a pencil in it, and hide it somewhere near his Portland residence. He then posted the coordinates of his bucket into a tech forum and challenged people to find his bucket. And that they did. Everybody got really excited and everybody was determined to cite his log. Within a few months, a computer programmer by the name of Jeremy Irish created a website known as geocaching.com to manage this new hunting game that they had come up with. In 2008, there was over 500,000 caches in the world. Today, there's over 3 million of them in 190 countries. Geocaching.com now has an app with a free version, or you can upgrade for $6.99 a month or pay $29.99 a year, which comes out to $2.50 a month. And for a quick economic lesson, if half of the 3 million people who have caches were paying the $29.99 a month to manage their app, then he's making at least $44 million a year. Not bad for a good idea. Now let me tell you exactly what geocaching is. A cache is a watertight container that holds a logbook and possibly a pencil, but for the most part it is a collection of random objects. Like there could be bottle caps, there could be coins, there could be lottery tickets, there could be figurines. The possibilities are actually fairly endless. The way that it works is when you find the cache, if you leave something, you can take something. Or if you're not interested in the exchange, you can just find it and sign the logbook and go on. Geocaches are not buried, ideally. They discourage people from doing that because somebody will dig up a whole bunch of holes and still never find the cache. There's supposed to be someplace that is moderately visible, somewhere between your knees and hopefully not high enough that somebody's going to get hurt getting it. They do not put things such as pins, candles, soaps, candy inside of them. The scented items are because they could lure animals. The candy is because an intelligent human being would not eat candy that they found in a plastic container in the woods. Ink pens may burst, so it's never a bad idea to bring your own ink pen. There is something called a traceable. Traceable are objects that are logged when they move from one geocache to another, and if you find a traceable, when you log it, it'll show you everywhere that the traceable has been. And then you put it in its next place, log its location, and it goes on to the next person. When geocaching originally took off, it was done with GPS devices where you could enter the longitude and latitude coordinates of the cache into a handheld GPS monitor, and it would take you to the location of the cache. Smartphones, I don't think actually became a thing until 2008, maybe 9. So the app was actually developed within the last 5 years. When you open the app, it's very much similar to looking for a Starbucks on Google Maps. When you bring home up the home screen, it will show you the locations of caches around you, and it will draw a line from your location to the cache. It will get you within 10 feet of the cache, and then you have to rely on the hints and the description left by the people there before you to find what you're looking for. If it's not, people also log when they do not find it. Some caches will ask you to answer a question or post a picture or do some random thing before you can get the hint that tells you where to find the cache when you get there. There is also such thing as a virtual cache, and there have been college students who they've published research where they have done geocaching together with people virtually from different locations. Um, But from what I understand of geocaching.com, they are actually discontinuing that with the rise of Pokemon Go. Now let's discuss the fun part, how we can use this as educators. Geocaching can be used with any subject if you're creative. The basic science behind it is longitude and latitude that you teach to elementary students in about somewhere between the 3rd and 6th grade. But if you actually take students out geocaching, I read some teachers' feedback where students just get excited about the idea of learning outside the classroom. Plus, along the way, you can identify many ecological aspects of nature that you cannot really point out in the classroom. I mean, if you take kids outside where I'm at, you're going to see deer. Hiking is never a bad choice. Being out where you're in the fresh air, getting exercise, never a bad thing for PE. That's just the beginning. The above link that you're looking at right now is to a forum on geocaching.com. They have set this up especially for teachers. They have different areas that you can go in and look at lesson plans from different teachers, and there are teachers who go in and say, how can I integrate geocaching into this subject? And there are other teachers there who give them feedback of what they've done and new ideas. Some of my favorites include an English teacher. She had students choose caches around them, and then she had them go into the hints and the description, and she had them edit them for grammatical errors. A 6th grade teacher used a mystery cache to help teach students measurement. It was something along the lines of, go to this tree, go 10 feet to your left, 8 feet to your right, and so on and so forth until they found the cache. This one's actually my favorite. There was a middle school teacher who set up a giant planet display in a field. He had his students convert the distance between the planets into feet, and then they used that information to find the different planets of the solar system. There was a science teacher and an English teacher that teamed up. The science class created a geocache container and chose a location to hide it. The English class wrote descriptions and hints, and then they voted to choose which one they were going to use as the description for where the geocache was located. They actually do that on an annual basis. Then there was one lovely math teacher who created mathematical equations for his students, and the answers gave them the longitude and latitude to find different caches throughout their high school campus. Okay, y'all. I'm going to be doing a voiceover on this because for some reason it's not picking up the noise from me talking. I found this geocache in Lowback Cemetery. It was a tribute to somebody who passed away. It was a pill bottle, and it had a piece of camouflage tape wrapped around it, set down in the trunk of a tree. There was a log. I had to bring my own pen. That would be the roll. It actually had the instructions from geocaching.com printed on the back of it. I found some stickers. That was a My Little Pony figurine. Somebody left a rock. There was a yo-yo. There was a ring that was made out of a horseshoe nail. And a chipped pebble that you would find in a fish aquarium. Once we signed the roll, we put it back where we found it. There you can see the pill bottle with the tape. Okay, these are my works cited, and I hope that y'all enjoyed my little presentation on geocaching.